We have the Chicken Academy here, and we have Rob. Let's see. Hey, Rob, we haven't seen you for a little bit. How you been? We are waiting for Cat and Jack whenever she's ready. No hurry for Cat. We go by Cat time. Cat doesn't go by our time. We go by Cat time. Cat doesn't go by our time. See, even this guy agrees with me. As you may know or may not know, Thursday evening for me. Technically, it's still late afternoon. Hello, Cat.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm really good. How are you?
I'm good too. It's nice to see you.
Nice to see you.
And
But I see you all the time.
you do see me all the time. And you look beautiful as always.
Thank you. You look beautiful also.
I'm feeling beautiful. Thank you. And we both talked about that. You and I have talked about that before about actually being appreciated for not just outer beauty. Not that I'm ever appreciated for my outer beauty, but being seen,
Yes.
truly being seen. And when you can truly see someone, then you're finding beauty in every single person. You do that so well. You know that?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Sometimes it is a practice.
It is a practice. But I maybe I'm mistaken. I think I've seen you practice before. I think I've seen you look where you had a double look, um, where it might not be evident to you at first, but you stuck with it, which is amazing because not everyone does. You think you would have a year ago, 2 years ago?
No way.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Yes.
What changed?
Yeah, of course, the miracle softened my heart.
Right. But you know what? A couple years ago, even with my practice of A Course in Miracles, definitely 20 years ago, even when I very first finished it, I might not have double looked. I might have just shrugged it off as a lost lesson. And I might not have stopped and backtracked and said, no, look deeper. So even as a student of A Course in Miracles, um, it still is a practice and it still isn't easy.
I wouldn't have even been aware of using it as a practice without A Course in Miracles.
I agree. This sort of brings me up to what you wanted to talk about, perception.
Okay, yeah.
Because seeing, you, you know, you said, and I'm not just saying this for my own self gratification, you said, you look beautiful today, Yogi. That is on one level, by the way, I appreciate that. On one level, it's a perception. On another level, it's vision.
Yes.
And there's a big difference. I appreciate your perspective on a physical level because everyone physically likes to be thought of as beautiful or pretty or handsome or whatever. But on that deeper level of vision, I really, really appreciate it. And I know you do too. That's what was it last week or the week before when we talked about um, saying you look beautiful.
I'm not
And
sure. Last week? Yeah, last week.
right. Hey, Shadow Claw. Sniper is here. Sniper said he had some questions sometime tonight, and Toy Pops has some questions
Great.
as well. You want to hear something that I read in the manual for teachers?
Of course.
Let's see. Are changes required in the life situation of God's teachers? And here's what they have to say. Teachers are required in their minds, in the minds of God teachers, or changes are required in the minds of God teachers. It's really important. Changes in the mind. You can live where you live. You can work where you work. You can be with the people that you are with. but changes in the mind are required, which means we're changing our perception, our perspective, and not expecting the outer world to change.
Right.
Um, that's been a topic of conversation a bit. You and I both
Mhm.
talked about that. Uh, I'm lucky. I don't have a job I have to go to. It's easy for me to sit back in my little office in my comfortable chair and talk to you guys.
Right.
Just change your mind. Everything will be okay. Not that going live 3 times a day doesn't require me to pause on occasion and reevaluate my own thinking. Am I perceiving this correctly, or am I perceiving it just solely through the lens of the ego? And the answer is yes, sometimes, and no, sometimes. I do my best. Um, so here they're talking about this may or may not involve changes in the external situation. Remember that no one is where he is or her by accident, and chance plays no part in God's plan. It is most unlikely that changes in attitude would not be the first step in the newly made teacher of God's training. There is, however, no set pattern since training is always highly individualized. There are those who are called upon to change their life situation almost immediately, but these are generally special cases. By far, the majority are giving a slowly evolving training program in which as many previous mistakes as possible are corrected. Relationships, in particular, must be properly perceived and all dark cornerstones of unforgiveness removed. Otherwise, the old thought system still has a basis for a return. So, Kat, you could declare yourself a teacher of God and tell everyone at work that they simply don't understand your holiness and you're out of here. Um, they can take that job and, do what you can do with jobs and walk away because you're a highly evolved student of A Course in Miracles. But in your very next job, guess what would happen?
I'd still be there.
Still be there. Or we could learn the lesson. And it's funny how you and I ask these type of questions all the time. Um, why is it so hard to learn these lessons, Kat?
Yeah, did you have the answer?
I do not have the answer.
I was here to get the answers from you.
No.
I'm cheating on the test.
Hey, Berkeley Reaper. It gets, well, here's my answer. Because it is.
Okay.
Because
Yep.
uh, if we think in terms of lifetimes, if we want to think about rebirth and reincarnation, then we have lifetime after lifetime of messing up to bring us here. And why did we think it would be easy just because we read a book called A Course in Miracles?
Mm.
However, the Course in Miracles brought it to mind that we can do something about this. So we've been given a great advantage that we didn't have in a previous lifetime. And by previous lifetime, I don't necessarily mean reincarnation. The previous incarnation of Kat when she was 20, or Kat when she was 30. And since we all know that you are only 31, now stop. I will stop right there.
Can't.
Um, but you know what I mean? We've been reborn in this moment, given the gift of practicing A Course in Miracles. And I've been given a great blessing of having a fellow teacher named Kat to help see me through these difficult lessons.
Well,
Thank you.
thank you. Thank you for being a teacher.
You're welcome. Reaper says, smart Yogi. I don't know about smart. I didn't use any big words. Um, hey, Hats on a Mission, how are you? But I'm thankful that we have this moment, these lessons, and the Course in Miracles, and that I have you. Because I'll tell you what, if I didn't have any of that, and even if I had my practice of meditation and my practice of breath work, it wouldn't be enough.
No.
I need forgiveness,
Mm.
true forgiveness. Forgiveness as offered through A Course in Miracles, because I need to change my perspective. Because even with meditation and breath work, um, I might recognize my thoughts, which is relaxing, but I wouldn't have a tool to change my thoughts. And forgiveness gives me that ability, where forgiveness and a relationship with Holy Spirit, Jesus, the Tao, where I can say, I don't understand and I'm unable to forgive myself, but I want to hand this over, which is huge.
So, speaking of handing it over, what does that look like for you, Yogi?
That's a good question. It usually involves a heavy sigh because I tried everything. Um, I'm stubborn, and I've prided myself on strength and being stoic through times. That I will grit my teeth and I will endure. Um, and I'm not gonna. I will take in. This will tell you everything you need to know about me, Kat. I will. 6 years old, I will still carry every single grocery bag in one trip. I will not take multiple trips. I will load up. I will have it hanging off of my ears. I will have them uh, all over, but I will take every single one. Um, and that when it comes to it, when I finally have to make 2 trips, um, I suspect it might be a big sigh. You know what? I didn't have to carry all those bags all the time for all those years. So letting go for me is a um, it's simply that, surrendering and saying, I can't do it. And not only that, I don't want to do it anymore. I don't want to be alone anymore. Um, and I don't know why, even with A Course in Miracles and even coming to that realization a long time ago, I refused it. But I'm not anymore. How about you?
I used to, one of my teachers had a whole script for turning it over. But now, and you use whoever you know. I mean, if you use Jesus or an angel group that you're familiar with, your guides, but you just call on them and say, this, take this from me. And that's my form of letting go. It's kind of like an official. It was nice with the whole script at one time, but now it's like, you know what I mean. You know what I mean. Take this from me.
Right. Um, it's also more immediate.
Do you think so?
I think so. I think when you have a script, you have to recall the script or you have to go get the script.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Um, for you, it's a heartfelt prayer. You just, no more. I'm
Yeah.
done.
Yeah. When the pain gets too bad, it's like
Yeah,
this. Take this.
you're so much smarter than me. Um, by the way, I want to read a message from Shirley for you. Kat, let me tell you the secret. I'm old in years, but very immature. So it averages out to me being 34 years old now. Jace is too immature for her. Jace is actually too old for her.
Good for you, Shirley.
Reaper says, yes, Yogi, I'm the same way. Marlon says, just Yogi doing burpees in a thong.
Ooh.
That's for my OnlyFans site, by the way.
Oh.
What? That's uh, not quite the reaction I hoped for from Kat.
I was just thinking that takes some bravery.
It does take some, but you know what? I'd rather do burpees in a thong than kettlebells in a thong.
I don't even want to think about either one, to
Okay,
be honest. Thongs are just
that's it.
uncomfortable.
I would not know, to be honest with you. I'm gonna take you at your word.
Yes, yes. I would not steer you wrong.
I just want to cruise through and see if there's any questions.
Hmm.
Um, our friend Joshua is here. Hey, Joshua, nice to see you, my friend. Our friend.
Okay,
Uh,
okay. See you guys later. Bye, Josh.
Josh is leaving.
Apparently.
Oh, see you, Josh. Hey, Buddha. Buddha is here. Appreciate that. I think Skits is here. Hello, Skits. If I miss anyone, I apologize. Joshua says he could wear a thong. We'll talk about that later.
Did you see Joshua's short?
I did see Joshua short.
Did you see Joshua's ass? I mean, butt.
I I did. I saw both. I saw both.
Mm, He's so
Uh,
brave.
it's 445 says, I wonder what y'all think about Robert Monroe and his Scientific Astral Projection Institute. You know anything about Robert Monroe?
Yeah, the gosh, what do you call it? The beats, binaural
Yeah.
beats, the
Yeah.
gateway process.
Have you ever done any of his tapes or anything?
Yeah, I tried to. It gets really deep, but I really enjoy binaural beats in a meditation, not with music, just the beats. And I'm able to focus on the sound the two different frequencies make, and that helps me kind of concentrate on basically nothing.
Right. Um, have you ever tried any astral projection?
I think I don't know. I don't know if I've had astral projection or seen things in different places.
Okay,
I'm not
that would
sure.
be uh, remote viewing. And I think astral projection will be then you're actually in your astral body and you'll sense that astral body. And remote
Ah,
viewing would be that you could see, but you're not in your astral body. Sorry, I got
mhm.
to keep disengaging my own cat who's deciding to visit right now. Um, it's interesting. I haven't really done any remote viewing. I have done Tibetan dream yoga a bit a long time ago. I'll be honest, and I mentioned this before in other situations. I lost a great deal of interest in a lot of practices other than focusing on forgiveness and being kind. I meditate because when I meditate, I'm more effective at forgiving and being kind. I do breath work because it calms the central nervous system. And when my central nervous system is calm, I'm not reactive and I'm responsive. And when I'm responsive, I'm almost inevitably forgiving and kind
Mm.
versus reacting when I might react first. That's okay. Let's see. You back? Four for
Yeah,
five
sorry.
says that's okay. Um, I was actually to fill up time until he came back. I was just about ready to do a little song and dance number, but you came back so quick. 4 for 5 says yes. Good explanation of remote viewing versus astral projection. I've left my body on drugs, but feel like it's cheating. Think of it as a tool
Mhm.
until you don't need a tool, and eventually you don't want to use tools. That's what Adolf Huxley said in Doors of Perception, writing about plant medicine, that it's a gateway. It's a gateway to different dimension of reality, but it's the same gate every single time. But when you learn how to meditate, uh, you no longer need to use a tool to go through the gate. You just step through. And of course, according to A Course in Miracles, um, all of that is still part of the dream. All of that is still part of the illusion that you're playing with shiny things, and nothing the matter with shiny things as long as you know that you're playing with shiny things. As long as you know I'm being drawn to this shiny thing, it's really interesting. I like it. It's interesting, but it's still um, it serves little purpose, if any at all, in awakening. And that the way to awakening is forgiveness. When Jesus was on the cross, he could have said, oh look, my astral body. Um, but he still would have been on the cross, and we wouldn't have a resurrection. He'd be hanging out in the astral realm, playing astral games. But instead, he forgave, and when you forgive, you're given that moment of resurrection. Hey, Miss Flipper. Um, and that's an important thing that because I know I know that you have, interests, let's call it spirituality interest, that could be seen as not related to A Course in Miracles.
Hmm.
Um, but it's useful. And as the Course says, um, the Course calls it magic. Um,
Right.
if magic can make your life easier, then use magic. Just know that you're using it. Nothing the matter with it. Just know what you're doing. Just know that this ultimately isn't the way to awakening, but awakening through suffering, awakening through psychological damage is a lousy way of awakening. But learning how to dream a happier dream
Mm.
and then awakening, it's kind of nice. I'm gonna take that path.
Yeah, I've been having a little bit of inner turmoil about letting go of some of those magical things. And I've always, as long as they matched up with what I read in A Course in Miracles, I was okay with it. And sometimes now I'm finding a little conflict and I'm a little in turmoil a little bit inside. But I know A Course in Miracles is the ultimate truth. I mean, I feel that.
Right. Um, but hey, runner boy, but can you accept that all of those are useful tools, but not the ultimate awakening?
Yes,
Does that ease the situation a little bit for you?
I think so. Yeah. Yeah.
Because it did for me quite a bit. Because I had the same thing, and um, you know, 445 mentioned that self-realization fellowship is pretty hardcore, and they're not using drugs to enter higher states of consciousness. I at one point was going to apply uh, monastery self-realization fellowship,
Mm.
but not only are they hardcore on drugs, which is fine with me because I wasn't doing any, but they're also a hardcore on other teachings outside of the teachings of Paramahansa Yogananda, and particularly channel teachings, of which the course would fall under. But the course, uh, any student of the course doesn't really call it channel teaching. It's scribed. It was received, where channeling people will go into a trance. They might speak in a different voice. That Helen, when she was receiving the course, uh, it was like she was in conversation, and she could stop anytime. She could interrupt it. She could argue with it, which she did. Thank you so much, Shirley. Oh, Sniper has a question above.
Mhm.
Are you able to see the chat at all?
I can't go back on it, but I can see it.
Okay, I just want to make sure that I can find Sniper's question. Oh, I also want to mention something Toy Pups brought up. There it is. Um, question one to Kat or Yogi. Um, do you personally define or recognize shifting consciousness in your own experience? And what specific internal or external indicators signifies such a shift for you? Yep. He addressed you first.
Just the amount of love that I am willing to let in and go out. That has been a shift for me.
Okay. Um, I want to make sure that we're.
Answering his question?
Yep. Do you have any indicators that
Oh,
signal such a shift for you?
yeah, when people start treating me differently.
I like
I
how that also.
question. I still question. I'm like, why are you being so nice to me?
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
Um, that brings us back to. I'm glad you asked that question, Sniper, and I'm glad you answered it in that way because it brings us right around full circle back to perspective that you didn't do anything to those people to make them be nicer to you. You didn't go up and say, "I'm a nice person. Please, why don't you like me? Please be nice to me." You went within. You did the work. You're still doing the work.
For sure.
Um, the for me, I've had all kinds of um, what we could call shifting consciousness through deep, deep stages of both yogic and Buddhist meditation. I've spent almost a decade hanging out, traveling to Grateful Dead shows, doing what you do at Grateful Dead shows. Um, I've done trance meditations, I've done drumming circles, shamanic experiences, and it's all just consciousness and just consciousness. There's not, I can't even say there's different stages, there's just different perspectives of consciousness unfolding at any given time, depending on what you're doing. And in the end, for me, it was none of it mattered because I would come out of all of those different states of consciousness and be the same miserable person that I was before. I might know a little bit more about something in particular, but I still couldn't be nicer when someone cut me off in traffic. Uh, I still couldn't readily and easily and want to forgive a difficult family member. None of that changed me. It just gave me a different insight, but it didn't change me. Um, and what the course brought me was the desire just to be nice to myself and to other people. That I wanted to forgive myself, and the easiest way, the only way that truly to do it, was to start forgiving people. To see that I don't, I'm in a relationship with you, no matter who you are. You could be someone on YouTube trying to push my buttons. You could be someone trying to start a political argument with me on Facebook. You could be someone cutting me off in traffic. You could be a neighbor who steals my parking spot after I spent 2 hours shoveling it out after a blizzard, and I forgot to put a chair in that spot. Um, I'm in a relationship, and you know, again, that was a big realization for me that practicing yoga and meditating put me on a very solitary path. And I would come out of meditation and I could be readily annoyed with someone who interrupted my meditation or spoke in a way. I'm in such a peaceful mood. Do you have to be so harsh? I'm in such a peaceful mood. Why do you have that radio on so loud? I'm in such a peaceful, which means I wasn't really in a peaceful mood. I was just in that altered state of consciousness. So meditation is a great tool. I teach it. I love it. Um, but it needs to coincide with the practice of forgiveness and the practice of kindness because you can see the ego through meditation, but you transcend the ego through forgiveness.
Mm, mhm.
Um, let's see if we got
Squir
any more. Go
Squirrel
ahead.
did have another question.
Okay. Excuse me. Do you happen to see it by any chance?
No.
Hey, Billy Bob. Hey, Nikki. Nikki Lee is here.
Nisi, hi.
I'm looking for your comment, Sniper. Up there we go. Question two. In what way do you believe a change in your vibration or frequency directly influences your emotional well being, mental clarity, and even your physical health?
Start the beginning of that one again.
Yep. In what way do you believe a change in your vibration or frequency directly influences your emotional well being, mental clarity, or even your physical health? It's a great question for you, I think, with your uh, quantum healing work.
Hmm. I don't know an answer for that.
Um, well, let's unpack it together
Okay.
and see what we come up with. Now, everything, if David Hawkins wrote a great book, Power versus Force, everything has a level within consciousness. Um, Although it's still consciousness, but where you vibrate within consciousness is dependent upon the thoughts that you have. And for me, actually, David Hawkins was a student of A Course in Miracles. He wasn't overly fond of the text because he believed the text made too much of the ego being an enemy. But he was a big fan of the workbook because workbook's a little kinder approach to the ego. So when I battle the ego, I am vibrating at a very low frequency. And my practice of being kind, my practice of forgiveness all suffer. When that suffers, my emotional health suffers because I'm caught up in my stuff. And when I'm caught up in my stuff, when I'm emotionally out of sync, my physical health suffers because my immune system
Mhm.
is weakened. So this brings me back to practicing forgiveness, practicing kindness. I'm happier. I smile more. My heart is easier. I'm open, and I am vibrating at a higher frequency. And when I'm higher at a higher frequency, my immune system works better, and people respond, as you mentioned, to me differently. Um, and it feels like life cooperates with me, that the universe is conspiring for my well-being. The more that I surrender to that state of a higher vibration.
Have you ever really looked at the scale of consciousness and decided where you might fall in that?
Um, a long time ago, mainly when I was doing more yoga work.
Okay.
Be interested to look at again.
Mhm.
It's been a while. It's probably been 10 years since I've read, probably longer even, since I've read David Hawkins. It was a very important book for me at one time. What about, have you?
Yeah.
Wait a
Oh,
minute.
yeah.
Before you answer, are you higher than me?
No, probably not.
You might be. You probably are.
But, he does teach you how to test for that too,
The
the body testing.
yeah, kinesiology.
Yes.
I would have when I was a manager and the I used to work for GNC and the vitamin shop. Um, and people would come in and they would do the body tests for supplements. Is this the right supplement for me? And they would do that muscle testing. Do you do that in any of your work?
I, was taking a course, and that's where I stopped right there, was in the middle of the testing, muscle testing, because I have a hard time believing it, trusting it. That's it,
Right.
trusting it.
What were your experiences though? Did you, when you experienced it, was it on point or
Yeah, yeah, yes, I thought it was on point.
interesting that, and you still had a hard time with it? Do you think if you revisited it, it might be different?
Yeah.
Do
Yeah,
you
I
have
think
any
do I have any plans to?
or any interest?
Yes, because it's something that I feel like I've not finished because I got frustrated and just walked away from it.
That
But
makes
it was
sense.
it was part of a course to basically channel your higher self or to hear or to automatic write, things like that, and was doing really, really well with it for a while, but then I got to that muscle testing and
Interesting. I wonder what that was, where why that particular thing acted as a trigger.
mm,
I don't know that we always need to know.
yeah,
We just all we need to know. Go ahead.
and then sometimes the answers come later.
True. True. Miss Flipper says, "How about a simple weirdo? Are you in a relationship with all simple weirdos?" And the answer is yes. I see myself as the simplest of all weirdos. I see a little bit of me in all of the weirdos, which is why
Mhm.
you and I started our Mama Weird.
I'm weird.
Exactly. Hey, and speaking of Miss Flipper, uh, if you want to dig into the uh, fishbowl of imperatives, and pull something up for Cat and I, let us know.
That'd be great.
Let's see. Buddha says we are frequency, light, and vibration. All be positive and vibrate higher. Never get anger, frustration, sadness, then you'll drop. Miss Pippa says, big weirdo love. Big weirdo love to you as well. Let's see. Question 3.
Go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
I've had a couple things come up lately, reminders. I was listening to Marianne Williamson earlier, and she was talking about we have free will, and we do have all this help available to us, but because we have this free will, they're not allowed to unless we ask. We invite them to help us. We ask them. And that I also saw that somewhere else. Maybe chapter 4 in the text. I was reading, Jesus said, to ask to know what your inheritance or your gifts are. Something like that.
Either way, I think it works.
Yeah.
I like that. That's a trigger for me. Free will. A Course in Miracles trigger. Because my own self-inquiry, asking who am I, leads to a complete, and I've had conversations with Miss Blipper about this, a complete realization of no self. And with no self, how can there be free will? There's no self to actually choose. But at the same time, in my more recent and deep immersion in Course in Miracles, and also yoga points, yoga and Buddhism, to no free will, because we're caught up in what they call the kleshas, which means afflictions of the mind, that we have our attachments, our aversions, our fears, particular things, and all of those tug us and pull us in directions that we would not like to go. We all say, I have free will, and then I say, no, you don't, and they get angry at me. Where's the free will in that anger? It's a reaction. But beneath those 5 afflictions, and beneath that no self, I think there's a certain violation, a certain choice that does play a part. I haven't quite wrapped my mind around it yet, but I'm working on it. Here's a question from Squirrel. Question 3. What specific practices or mindsets have you found most effective in intentionally raising your frequency or facilitating a shift in your consciousness?
Music, a coursework, exercise, being out in the grass, working in the dirt. Those are all things that I find help me. Was there more to
I
the
would agree with all
question?
those. Yep, I would agree with all those. I'd add in for me, breath work and meditation. Being out in nature is huge. And the type of music that you listen to.
Yeah,
The type
for
of
sure.
music that you listen to doesn't have anything to do with preference in the big picture of things. If you remember back to David Hawkins, the Skill of Consciousness, that certain music that we might love vibrates at a very low frequency, which causes us to vibrate at a low frequency as well.
Mhm.
Symphony music and the Beatles rank very high. So even if you're not a Beatles fan, I forgive you anyway. It's going to take a little bit of work, but eventually I will come around and I will forgive you. You are a Beatles fan, right, Kat?
Sure.
Oh, awesome. Okay, so I don't have to forgive you. I would forgive you instantly.
Oh, thank you.
I've come to love classical music, and I can feel the difference. And I can also feel the difference that even though I like some heavy metal, it does not put me at that higher frequency that I enjoy being at. So
I do find sometimes if I'm in that mood, that a little angry music, I do resonate. I definitely know I'm down. I'm kind of bouncing low because that music, it feels what I feel. But I try not to stay there too long.
Right. Um, but it resonates. If you're in that angry space, and you play something that resonates with the anger, uh, that might prove to be helpful. But if you're in a good place and you want to stay there, it might not be the
Yeah.
best to introduce that then. What would be angry? Toy Pups has a question, but I have a question for you. What would be angry cat music?
Angry cat music.
I don't see you as a heavy metal headbanging. I could be mistaken though.
I cannot think of a name of a band to give you right off the bat.
Um, yeah, for me, it would be some type of heavy metal, but not all heavy metal. I think vibrates at a low frequency. I think the like the death metal and that kind of stuff versus Deep Purple or Black Sabbath. I think that is a little more, but I could be showing my age as well. So, question for Kat from Toy Pups. Uh, let's see. Do you like bald men in glasses? No,
She did not write that.
no, but I thought I'd slip it in and see if I could get an answer. Can't blame a boy for trying. Question for Kat. What are your thoughts on the ego? Does it play a practical role in our lives?
I think it keeps us here in the illusion. That's its only job.
Like that answer. I like everything about that answer because it's straight to the point. It's succinct and um, from the perspective of the Course of Miracles, from that viewpoint, it's completely on point. It's inarguable. Relate to the ego as your sole identity, um, and you're stuck in the illusion. The
And it wants
important
to
thing,
keep us here.
yeah, it wants a autonomous position here.
And the Course in Miracles goes as far to say that the ego would rather see you dead than awaken.
Yeah, such a. I remember reading that and thinking, man, that's like a 2x4 to the face type of
Yeah.
answer.
Yeah.
And it's like, wake up. That was for me, like, wow. So, and it's so true.
Yeah.
And we live that effect. So glad you said that. It's like, it is like you hit me with a 2x4. And you're such a gentle person to go around smacking, to go around smacking people with 2x4s. Um, but Toy Pups, think about that. The, could you say that one more time? Because you did say it so perfectly. The
Just
ego.
would rather see us dead than for us to wake up and see the truth that we're in the illusion, because that's all it's here to do is keep us here.
Think of this: when you're caught up in a situation, in a traffic incident, um, have you ever done something that you know you look back later and you think, well, I could have gotten in trouble. I could have been killed. I was so angry and I drove like such an idiot. And why?
Yep.
Who was driving? Was it the ever lovable, beautiful cat that I know, or
No,
was
it
it the
was the
ego?
ego.
Yeah, man, you got a smile on your face. Like, yep, I've been there, and so have I. I've driven like an idiot. My biggest fear is one day being a famous, well-known YouTube teacher of A Course in Miracles, and someone saying, "Oh yeah, what about this?" and bringing a video of me in a traffic jam, flipping people off, both fingers, shaking my fist. Um, but it's been a while since
Mm,
for that for me. It's been a long while.
because you don't
Um,
drive, Yogi.
like, I've, ye of little faith. Um, but it is. it does make it infinitely easier for sure. Cypher says, question 4 from Cypher. Thanks for that question, Toy Pups, and thank you for that answer, Kat.
Hmm.
I'm gonna be if I knew how to clip, I would make a clip of that.
Well, we're glad you don't know how.
Um, doesn't mean I can't learn. But I think that's an important thing for people to revisit. That answer.
Um, A Course in Miracles says a couple other things about the ego, I think in the text, which when I first read it, I'm like, "Oh, the ego is the devil." And it does say it calls it legion. I even underlined it. It calls it legion at one point. I'm like, it's the devil.
Right. Um, as you work through it, though,
Hmm.
um, you're encouraged not to fight it, not to battle it, but to smile
Right.
at it. Gentle smile.
Right.
Just all you have to do is don't take it so seriously. Which definitely makes it easier. Uh, I don't need one more thing to battle
Right. Right.
in my life, and I know you don't either. Hopefully, my battling days.
I was thinking exactly the same thing. I hope I'm done with that.
Yeah, I'm finding myself in situations uh, where life is saying, "Oh yeah, how about this?" And I'm finding that although there's a little bit of internal battle, um, there's a very soft surrender going on. That yes, this
Hmm.
is happening. Yes, I don't like this. Yes, I wish things might have been different. But yes, this is happening, and I can't escape it, nor do I particularly wish to, because it will just revisit somewhere other, some other time, and I'll have to go through it again. Let me learn the lesson now. Because why
Yeah.
not now? You know, now's as good a time as any. I got an excellent Course in Miracles teacher walking beside me and pointing out what needs to be pointed out. So I'm happy to be learning it now. I wish I had learned it 20 years ago,
Mm,
but hey, you learn when you're capable of learning.
right.
So Semper says, question 4, um, beyond our individual experience, do you perceive evidence of a broader shifting consciousness occurring on a collective or worldwide scale? And if so, what points to this?
You go ahead first.
Okay. So beyond our individual experience, do you perceive a evidence of a broader shift in consciousness occurring on a collective or worldwide scale? And I'm going to say yes. And if so, what signs point to this is that there are about 3 million copies of A Course in Miracles in circulation right now. And it's being published in more and more languages around the world. Um, as well, that more people are turning towards meditation. And I think a lot of the signs of discord actually point towards the healing. Things are coming to the surface. And it's right now, it's either heal or die. I'm going back to your statement. It's either look through the ego, look through it completely, and seeing for what it is, or collectively, we're going to die. We're going to die anyway, but not, we have a choice. How is it going to come about? Do we want to create that happier dream? Or do we want to um, go kicking and screaming and taking others with us along the way? And I much prefer the happier dream. What do you think, Kat?
I was just thinking in the kitchen earlier that this A Course in Miracles was made for this time.
I think so.
Yeah.
I have um, I'm probably a little more less so than I used to be, but I know I'm more politically active than you
Hmm.
because I've heard you mention several times that you just retired from it. You're done. I'm semi-retired from it. I do my best, but I do get pulled in. And I realize these times are actually my greatest teacher. That um, these are the no matter what side of any political aisle might fall on, and I won't get political in this conversation, but no matter what side you might be on, you are required to forgive whoever it might be. You're required to forgive. So when you can do that, if you look on this political figure who might push your deepest button, and you can see them beyond whatever action, whatever bluster, whatever this, whatever that, and you can see them as the innocence of their true self. You've come a pretty far, long way.
Mm.
So maybe, in my own internal battleground with the ego, with forgiveness, maybe politics is the last one. Probably not, but I like to think survive this, and we'll move on to the next one. I admire you for stepping aside, by the way, from politics.
Oh, yeah.
Eh,
I was
Um,
one way, and then I just took a look at the other side, and I'm like, None of this, it's not better on either side." And I had a lot of emotions coming out of it, and I was like, "This is just not for me." I'm not grown up enough yet.
I can understand that. I decided to double down on um, my course practice, um, because of because of politics, and then I was given another sign um, on my YouTube channel that in order to actually have um, a channel where I talk about this, I needed to. I couldn't play any longer. I couldn't play being committed to forgiving. I had to realize that this is it. This
Mhm.
is the line's been drawn. Uh, I could say forgive and thrive, or don't forgive and flounder. And by thrive, I don't necessarily mean having great subscribers or you know content. By thrive, I mean that I have great interactions with wonderful people who might be different than me, who might come in and say, vote for this guy, or might come in and say that the person you voted for is whatever. Um, and if I wasn't able to practice forgiveness, then I wouldn't thrive. I'd be stuck in my opinion instead of my openness. And it's okay to have an opinion as long as you think it's an opinion and just mine and doesn't have to be shared with everyone, as much as I still wish it would be. I gotta take my supplement real quick. Question 5. So now we see a significant shift in consciousness. Could this fundamentally alter our perception of reality? What is one major societal challenge you believe could be profoundly impacted? So, do you mind if I take an attempt?
Please.
Marianne Williamson, in several books, talked about starving children and how that people like to talk of if God exists and if it's an all loving God, like you like to talk about, um, how could God ever allow children to starve? Which is a valid question. Why would an all loving God create a world, create a reality in which children are allowed to starve, in which wars are allowed to happen, with genocide is allowed to happen, uh, crime, homeless people? And as she writes, God did not create a world that allows any for that. We did. This is our world. And we're stuck in it. We're stuck in this reality because we keep thinking thoughts that this is acceptable. That one child, we have the resources, we have the resources from God to feed every single person in the world in a short order of time. And yet we're stuck in the consciousness, we're stuck in the reality that it's an impossibility. So we don't do anything about it. Or we do very little thinking that we're doing something great. that I will, hey, if I feed 10 children, that's better than no children getting fed. And it is, but it's still limited because we're thinking in terms of limit. We're thinking in terms of limited resources. So, what significant shift in consciousness would be saying that we have enough, that we have the resources of God at our disposal, that we no longer think of ourselves as small and limited, and that some are allowed some and others are allowed nothing. So everything would be impacted, profoundly impacted, with that little shift of consciousness that we have enough. Any any thoughts?
No.
Um, hey, on a related, unrelated question, going a little bit back to politics, were you surprised, disappointed, or unaffected by Marianne Williamson's decision to enter politics?
I was pleased. I was excited. And I knew deep down I knew she wasn't going that was not for her, but just the fact that her name was out there and her beliefs were out there that I just planted some seeds.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I had people asking questions. I know
Yeah.
people on both sides of the political aisle who um, were dismissive of her until they heard her talk, and they were like, "That actually makes sense." Uh, let's focus on lifting people up. That if you have a Department of War, she didn't say let's eliminate the Department of War, but she said let's have a counterbalance and a Department of Peace. Uh, and why, if you have a Department of War, you are always prepared for war.
Right.
If you have a Department of Peace, you're preparing for peace. I forget which diplomat said that uh, war is always the failure of diplomacy. It means at a certain point you decided I'm not going to be diplomatic anymore. I'm not going to continue to listen. I'd rather kill you and
Hmm.
everyone who is associated with you. And when you think of it in that light, how ridiculous is that? And yet we do it on a smaller battlefield
Mhm.
in local politics. We do it in religion. How dare you have a different religion than me? I'd rather kill you. Um, so strange.
Very strange.
And that goes back to what Sniper was saying: shifting perspective. As soon as you see that it's strange, you're no longer willing to be a participant, and which is what you did when you decided, you're done with politics. Is as strange as it gets.
Mhm.
Everyone knows what we should do. We should feed each other. We should help each other. It's the end of politics. My politics is kindness. I I will vote for anyone in any party that offers the surest path of being kind. I don't know if I'll ever find anyone in politics that has the surest path of being kind, aside from Marianne Williamson. Some are better than others, but a lot of it is convoluted, circular path.
Mm.
Miss Pippa says, Course Miracle says to emphasize with greatness. Hey, Long John, I like that. Emphasize with greatness. Let's see. Skid says, but is it acceptable to think that we bear the burden of the world as individuals? As in, do we have to accept actions of others as our own? What do you think, Kat?
The only thing that keeps coming to my mind is not really looking at the person's actions, but trying and I think it's a gift. It's a gift that gets bestowed upon you, being able to see somebody past their story, past what they're projecting, to see the true light of them. And I did read something about that. The more that we're doing that, the more we convince our brother to see that in themselves without them really knowing. It's kind of like a behind the back door kind of job.
Right, right, right. Um, Here's the question: What if you didn't think that you were bearing the burden? What if it wasn't a burden? What if I could lighten your load, make things a little easier for you? Um, so the key word, I think, Skits, is to think. As long as I think that it's acceptable or not acceptable, that I have to bear your burden, it's your burden after all. Why should I bear any of it? Um, and as individuals, as long as I'm thinking solely as an individual, um, then that's going to be difficult, maybe even impossible. But if I shift my, going back to the theme of the night that we've been weaving in and out of, if I shift my perception or my perspective, my perception, that mainly if I change that thought, then again, not only is it acceptable, it's required of me to lighten your burden and share it, walk with you, uh, side by side. And hey, if I'm capable of carrying a little bit heavier weight than you, uh, that really makes me happy that I can do that. So, Kat, if I ever need to carry a little extra for you, just let me know,
Okay,
and I'd be
thank
happy
you.
to. You, I realize that I said that before visiting you, when it actually might come with me actually physically carrying something, and you saying, "Hey, do you remember when you said if you could carry a little bit heavier?" Um, so I just realized sometimes I talk myself into a bit of a corner. That's it. I like that question, Skits. Let's see. Uh, Flip Up says, "I'll walk with you too."
Oh.
I agree, Kat. That sums it up. Because I look at all of you guys, and I think, you know what? There's no one else I'd rather be walking with right now. That, this goes to what Sniper was saying, collective consciousness. What we're doing right now and what we've done and what you do, by the way, so beautifully, Kat, is you will stop a conversation and say, I just love you. And I've seen you do it on your live stream. I've seen you do it on my live stream. And it raises everything and it'll start a chain event. And other people will turn to someone else and say, I love you. And Toy Pup says, Yogi is so cutesy. And not, there's nothing cutesy about me. Maybe ruggedly handsome might be a more apt description, right? Thank you. Now we're back. Now we're back on point. Don't don't make me break out the kettlebells again. Um, I've proved myself once. I'll prove it again. Cat is so demure.
Your cat, right?
No, my cat. This cat, my downstairs cat, is demure. This cat up here is demanding. She's claws first, ask questions later. Um, let's see. But Pup says she's pretty strong. She can help carry some. Let's see. I think we're caught up in questions.
Great.
You want to throw anything out there, Cat?
I do. Will you read something?
Yep.
It's like one of my favorites. It's
Oh,
chapter 9, section 8, verse 10.
and if you want, after I read, if you want to do uh,
Sure.
forgiveness meditation,
Sure.
Let's see. All right, I'm on. You said chapter 9,
Hmm.
section.
Section, it's the grandeur versus grandiosity.
Okay, that's section 8. And is there a particular paragraph?
Yep, 10.
All right. You are altogether irreplaceable in the mind of God. You want this read with commentary or not?
Sure.
Okay,
Your commentary?
my commentary.
Sure,
You could do
yeah.
your we could do your commentary too.
No,
You can
no.
stop me anytime.
Mm-mm.
You are altogether irreplaceable in the mind of God. Because I'd immediately stop for commentary because it's absolutely beautiful. Not that anyone needed my opinion on that, but it's instant relaxation. So wait a minute. I am altogether irreplaceable in the mind of God. No one else can do what I'm doing. No one else can be here in this position. No one else can be Eric. No one else can be Kat. Makes me happy to be here, irreplaceable in the mind of God. No one else can fill your part in it. And while you leave your part of it empty, your eternal place merely waits for your return. We're going nowhere, guys. God, through his voice, reminds you of it, and God himself keeps your extension safe within it. Yet you do not know them until you return to them. You cannot replace the kingdom, and you cannot replace yourself. God, who knows your value, would not have it so, and so it is not so. Your value is in God's mind, and therefore not in yours alone. All of your thoughts, Kat. That's not where your values are.
Hmm.
Every negative thought you've ever had about Kat doesn't exist because it's not in the mind of God. It's only in the mind of Kat's ego. What a relief that is.
Yeah.
So why I fall in love with the course, because I have these little, oh, it's all so much easier than I ever thought possible. To accept yourself as God created you cannot be arrogance, because it is the denial of arrogance. To accept your littleness is arrogant, because it means that you believe your evaluation, of yourself is truer than God's. A beautiful section.
Yeah.
You asked me to read. I read some of that once on a live stream, and our friend Bob, Anything's Possible, uh, was struck by that.
Yeah.
Particularly the to accept your littleness is arrogant. To believing that you are a small, defiant individual shaking your fist at the universe, that you're alone. It's us against them, uh, and there's no other us. It's just little old me. Uh, that's arrogant. Maybe not in the way people at first think. Well, how can
Right.
that be arrogant? Basically, you're believing that even though you are in defiance to God, that you are separate. You can no more be defiant to God in reality than you can be separate from God. Thank you.
No, thank you. It's very comforting. It's very, very comforting.
I agree.
Yeah.
Um, this time around in my going all the way through the course, amazing. It was always the workbook that I was drawn to. Um, and I would read the text, but it was almost like getting through the text.
Mm.
Um, but this time around, the text seems to be opening up for me in ways it never had before.
Yeah.
So, yeah, how would you like to do a little forgiveness meditation?
Okay, let's do it.
Would you be kind enough to close your eyes? And anyone who would like to join in, Miss Pipper says, littleness is the forgetting that you didn't create yourself. Bring a very gentle focus to your breath, wherever you find the breath right now. Could be high up in your chest, could be low down in your belly, wherever you find it. Gently breathing in, gently breathing out. Bring that same gentle awareness, that same gentle focus down into your belly. And feel the rise as you breathe in and the fall as you breathe out. Effortless. No effort needed. You breathe in, you breathe out. Watch the belly rise. If your thoughts wander, bring it back to the rise and the fall. No strain, no concentration. Continue to breathe. Bring that awareness to your heart space. We are not talking heart chakra. We're talking the heart space that belongs to you, belongs to me, and it's shared with someone you need to forgive. One space. And as you picture this person in your mind, know they are in this space with you, and that by offering them the light of your forgiveness, you yourself are being forgiven. It's an impossibility for one to occur without the other. And above all else, you wish to be forgiven. And so you gently and easily extend it to this person in your mind. And they gently and easily accept it. And they thank you because all they've ever wanted was to be forgiven. And all you've ever wanted was to forgive. And so it's done. And with an open heart, just sit, forgiven, forgiving, letting everything go. And when you're ready, return to your breath. And when you're ready, let the breath go. And open your eyes. And know that I love you.
I love you, Yogi. Thank you.
You're welcome. Brought a little tear in my eye, Kat.
Aw.
I get to go through that when, you know, it's a shared experience.
Yeah.
I love you got a gentle smile on your face. It broke me open just a little bit to see it. If our friend Selma was here, I would invite her up for a closing song, but I don't see her. So I guess you're gonna have to sing by yourself, Kat.
Very funny.
I thought I thought so. I often find myself much more funnier than anyone else finds me. I suspect that you find yourself funnier than other people.
Yeah,
Uh,
absolutely.
yeah. So you and I would sit around cracking ourselves up at totally different jokes.
Yep.
Neither one of us would get the other person's joke, but we would be laughing so hard it didn't matter.
Yep.
So any closing comments, statements? Oh, I wanted to mention, by the way, something Toy Pups had said in the previous live stream. Questions to ask Kat or myself don't have to be course related. They could be a question that we relate to from our perspective of a course. You know what I mean? Uh,
There's Salma.
uh, hey, Selma. Hey, Selma. I'm getting ready to um, close things down for the evening. Would you like to come up and sing a song? Um, So yeah, I mean, like you and I, we approach life and all the stuff that happens in life, some of which have absolutely nothing to do with A Course in Miracles. However, we relate to it all as students in A Course in Miracles. So, if someone had a question about something in particular, we might not have a specific answer to that, but we could offer a view as seen through A Course in Miracles, which I'd be happy to do.
Hmm.
Tip Up
Okay.
says, "Can you sing something?"
Yes, she
Yeah.
can. I'm gonna go so she can.
Okay. Thank you, Kat.
Bye, guys.
Bye. So we are waiting for our great musician friend, the ever amazing Selma. I feel like I should have a drum roll. Hey, Selma.
Hello.
Selma, before you say anything, I'm going to ask you a question.
Yes,
How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right. We were on a roll. We were on a roll. Hey, we were on a roll. We were on a roll. Hey, hey.
You know what? I was busy. I'm typing a question to our friend, the Chicken Academy. I didn't hear what you said. So I'm sorry. One more time. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right. We were on a roll. We were on a roll. Hey, we were on a roll. We were on a roll. Hey, hey.
Miss Pippa says, hey, on a roll, eh? Yep. Um, all right. I think I got it. I'm not sure if everyone in the chat got it. If not, they can ask. Long John says, Yogi, can you possibly somewhat explain main character journey existing regardless of the interconnectedness of all people and things in the universe? I'm not sure I fully got that, Long John. Not sure I quite got it. Hey, you know what occurred to me, Selma?
Yeah.
Sometime we need to get Skits to come up and sing that very same song. Wouldn't you like to hear Skits say that?
Yes.
Maybe. You know what? I think if I asked him, Skits would probably say, no, I can't do it, Yogi. But I think if Selma asked him, no one can say no to Selma. You know how I know that?
Yes.
You want to know how I know for sure that no one can say no to Selma?
Yes.
Because Selma got me to sing happy birthday to her father. That's how I know no one can say no to Selma.
Ready? Poppy mommy, love our toy pop. Yogi, skate. Cat and Jack.
You forgot one. Miss Flipper.
Miss Flipper.
Bye, Chicken. Skitosis. Or you can just say skits.
Yeah, and Sniper. Sniper.
Well done. Skits wants to hear how you doing one more time so he knows what he's going to sing.
I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right. We were on a roll. We were on a roll. Hey. We were on a roll. We were on a roll. Hey, hey.
You got it, Skits? Oh, Skits says she did me. Gotcha. Toy Pup says, yes, that's my girl. Skit says, Selma, you're a superstar, my friend. Toy Pup says, Selma is my hero.
Yes.
So, let's get caught up real quick before I head off to bed. How's your day been? You've had a good day, Selma?
Yes.
Awesome. Semper says, I like that one, Selma. Toy Pup says, Selma is my queen. She's a star.
I am a star and a
You are a
queen.
star. Hey, do you want to hear something real quick?
Yes.
You ready?
Yes.
Alright, I'm doing alright. We were on a roll, we were on a roll,
Who is that?
That's our friend Skits. He made that just for you. You want to hear it again?
Yes.
I'm doing alright, I'm doing alright. We were on a roll, we were on a roll,
That was good.
That was good. Skits is incredible, isn't he? He did that just for you, Selma.
Yes.
Do you know how much someone has to love you to go make
Yes.
a video like that just for you to sing?
Yes.
Do you realize how much every single person in this live stream loves you?
Yes.
Good. It's important to know. Sometimes we go through life and we don't realize how we affect other people. But Selma, I'm really, really happy that you are part of my channel.
Yes.
Although I like to think of it as Selma's channel, and I'm just here wasting time until Selma shows up. What do you think
Yes.
about that?
Yes.
Cliff Up says, Owner Girl. I think I'm going to change the name. Just as Selma doing burpees in her basement. What do you think about that?
No.
No. Just as Selma's father singing happy
No.
birthday? No? All right,
No.
we'll leave it at Yogi. Kat says Selma brings the sunshine and love.
Yes.
That was nice.
Puppy
Oh.
Mommy listen to my song. Okay for you. And Okay for you is a great song.
Yep. Before you play it, you ready to listen to one more thing?
Yes.
I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right. We're doing all right. We are on a roll.
we are on a roll. We are on a roll.
Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. We are on a roll. We are on a roll.
Who is that?
You want to hear it one more time and see if you can guess?
Puppy Mommy?
Puppy Mommy. The
Puppy
answer's one.
Mommy. That was incredible. I love that.
You want to hear it one more time?
Yes.
I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right. We're doing all right. We are on a roll.
We are on a roll. We are on a roll.
Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. We are on a roll. We are on a roll.
That was incredible.
That was incredible. And of course, it had the Toy Pups touch, a little extra flourish thrown in there as well. You got to make it your own, don't you, Selma?
Yeah, like this. This is how I do it. I'm doing all right. What's that dance? Actually, with your hands. You want to see it?
I do want to see it.
We were on a roll. We were on a roll. Hey, we were on. No, wait. I forgot.
It'll come to you. We're in no hurry. Anyone else? You know, I know quite a few of you.
I got it now. I'm ready.
I'm ready.
I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right. We were on a roll. We were on a roll. Hey, we were on a roll. We were on a roll. Hey, hey.
Awesome. Skits was trying to get me to sing it. I don't know if I would be. I don't know if I would words. I'd mess it up. But maybe I'll make a video and do it.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
I think so. It'll take the pressure off. I'll make a video for you, Skits. So you said you had a song to sing for Toy Pups?
Yes.
Whenever you're ready. Hey, Big Al.
This is a song for lovable toy pups and my husband, Hector, too as well, including you, Yogi.
Thank
Are
you.
you ready?
I am.
If the world was ending, I wanna be next to you. If the party was over and our time on earth was through, I wanna hold you just for a while. And die with a smile. If the world was ending, I wanna be next to you. Ooh. Oh, lost are the words that we scream. I don't even want to do this anymore. But you already know what you mean to me. I know what that is for. Whatever you do, that's what I follow. Nobody's promised tomorrow. So I'm gonna be have a night like such a last night. Like such a last night. If the world was ending. I wanna be next to you. If the party was over and our time on earth was through, I wanna hold you just for a while and die with a smile. If the world was ending, I wanna be next to you. I did it.
You did do it, and you did do it perfectly. You know what? I think I mentioned this to you yesterday. What Toy Pup said to me, that it sounds like Selma's been practicing because she's getting better. You've always been good. You always sound good, but you're getting every time you sing, it's like you're getting better and better and better. More beautiful than the last time you sang.
Yes.
Big Al says, "Well done."
Thank you, Big L.
Let's see. Skid says, "Beautiful Selma."
Thank you, Skip.
Knitting with Sherlin family says, "We appreciate you seeing you every day." Thank you so much. I am definitely, I am definitely here 3 times a day. How many times a day, Selma?
3 times a day.
What time am I here?
5 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 5:25.
5:25. You're absolutely right. Big Al says, "You're welcome, Selma." So, Big Al says, "Good night, everyone." I'm going to say good night too, Big Al. It's getting late for me, Selma. Time for me to go to bed. You have any parting message for us, Selma?
Yes.
What's that?
I'll go to my brother's graduation on Saturday.
Oh, nice. Where's that going to be?
At my brother's house.
Okay. That sounds like it's going to be fun. That's a big thing. Your brother graduating.
Yeah, and he graduated this year, and now we're gonna have a party for him.
Nice. Well, I hope you have fun. Are you going to be around
And
tomorrow, though?
Yes.
Okay, so that means we will get maybe a chance to hang out with you tomorrow.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, with that, I'm gonna go to bed. Could you do me a favor?
Yeah.
Could you tell everyone I said goodnight?
Yeah. Yogi said goodnight and he loves you and God bless you and he will see you at 5 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 5:25.
She's absolutely right about all of that. Thank you, Selma. Thank you so much. I do love you guys, and God bless you guys. And I
And
will be back.
Yogi,
Yep. I knew I wasn't gonna be able to. I'm so close. I almost made it out the door without a single fart being made. So close. I was so close this time, guys.
Yogi.
Yes. All right. Hey, Eric Point says another great live. Thank you, Eric. Hey, Soma, can you say goodnight to
Yeah.
Eric Point? Can you say goodnight to Eric Point for me?
Good night, Eric.
And I think that's it. We're done.
Yogi.
Toy Pup says she's farting up the place.
Yogi.
Uh
What?
huh. All right. Was that you? Or was that Toy Pups?
That was probably mommy.
I thought it probably was. Toy Pups is laughing. All right. With that, I'm gonna say goodnight to everyone.
I think Dundee fart.
Oh, probably. Yeah, probably.
Ask him.
Hey, Marlon, Dundee, someone wants to know if that was you farting up the place. I think that's the answer. All right.
I think Dundee did it.
I think he probably did. Good night, Marlon. Selma, we'll see you tomorrow, right?
Yes.
All right. We love you.
Good. I love you guys.
We love you too. Bye, guys.
Bye.